Welcome in, everyone. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and you need to click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I randomly go live streaming earlier on a weekday. So, and sometimes, on the weekends, I do have some of those Sunday live streams in. So make sure you hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going to be when I'm going to. Wow, I am stumbling over my words today. I am throwing you guys a curveball by going live earlier than normal, just like the market appears to be throwing us a curveball today. But what I'm going to do is, I think our time would be best spent today, especially for those of you who are newer to the market. I want to take a look at why the price action today was to be expected. There isn't anything that's invalidated any of our macro views. And we've sort of seen this thing before, right? This type of correction, whether it was going to happen this week, next week, the week of Christmas, again, this is something that has historically occurred in the past. And I'm going to prove that to you by walking you slowly through the charts here so that you get on the same page with me. And hopefully by the end of the live stream, if there's any part of you that's nervous by the price action going on, you'll get closer to where I'm at, which is literally this isn't phasing me one bit. I'm seeing the red today. I'm like, we're going to be up a lot higher in a couple weeks. So not really worried about it whatsoever. So if we take a look at Bitcoin here, we'll first take a look at just a granular micro low time frame view here. This is the 12-hour. We commonly take a look at the 12-hour chart. You can see we have this ascending line of support that we're still holding on to. Now this line's intersecting with the 50 simple moving average on here. So ideally, you'd like to see price hold up around this $96,000 level. If we start to lose this trend line, it's just a basic premise in TA. If you begin to lose this trend line right here, chances are you'll roll over lower. You might try to get above here, and then essentially just try to base out and form some sort of a base before going higher. This is, again, the beautiful thing is when you've been in the market for a long time, as much as I'll never be a soothsayer or an expert or a prognosticator of the charts, you've seen these market movements before. You've spent literally thousands of hours studying the charts, and you know what the main charts are that you should be looking at. And again, those macro charts are just beginning to fire off very bullish, right? So this is volatility. This is something that during a lot of the boring periods that you guys hopefully were here for, we spent a lot of time talking about volatility. And if you're in a market, right, and this is the most opportunistic market to make returns, if you're in the most opportunistic market to make the largest outpacing gains relative to the stock market, you're going to experience volatility not only to the upside to capture that, you're going to see it to the downside, guys. Okay? If we take a look at meme coins today. Look at the red across the board here. It's a good day to be a Murad meme coin holder. You can see Giga and SPX are bucking the trend, which is very interesting. But all of these meme coins here that I have on my list are in the deep red. If we go into the, not surprisingly, XRP is the one token in the green, and the rest of the tokens are in the red. The opposite will hold true some days as well. It's just the way XRP responds. If we take a look at mid caps, you can see really big corrections across the board, right? CASP is down 5%, Uniswap 6-7%, Pepe is down 11%. So lot of deep corrections here. But as I've shared in the past, again, this is just volatility, and we're going to kind of walk through why that is the case. And it's just historical things that we've seen before. Now, one of the things I wanted to point you to, it's not necessarily CASPA, but I want you to keep this in mind for your altcoins. So you're seeing a lot of deep corrections, right? One of the questions you should ask yourself, instead of getting so focused on the USD chart, is how is your altcoin holding up relative to Bitcoin? So you can take a look at a Bitcoin pairing chart to tell you that. You can come into TradingView and you can type something in like this, right? You can pause your screen if you don't know how to do this. But essentially what's happening here is Caspa has maintained its market structure, right? We're waiting for that big rise up, and I just spoke to that a couple days ago where I said if Bitcoin maintained a relative price level around $100,000, you'd be looking at a 40-cent plus Caspa up at these ranges. Okay, kind of hard to believe right now, right? Caspa's been ranging in this range forever, but again, what helps not only, and we can take a look real quick for everyone who is a fellow Caspian, we can take a very quick look, but nothing's changed on the 12-hour. We're just seeing a lot of volatility. So you could see, not surprisingly, as I said, 18 cents to the 19-cent area was going to give us a little bit of a problem spot. You can see it did. We've rolled over, but we're still putting in technically a higher low relative to down here. We bounced at 14.1. Currently, we're bouncing at 14.9. So still putting in a higher low. So again, focus. I'm actually going to do this. Focus on the basics in the chart, guys. Think about it this way. I really would like you to think about this for a moment. If none of the macro views on the charts are changing, okay? If nothing in the macro chart is changing, what is changing with volatility like this? The only thing that's changing are your emotions. That's the only thing. If you're not very well versed in this market and have a lot of experience, your emotions can get very turbulent during times like this. Whereas if you have knowledge that's founded on education and experience and logic, these times just don't faze you at all. I mean, there's nothing going on in the market that has me concerned. So this isn't surprising too, guys. This is a very basic premise, again, because I try to cover the basics in TA because they show up everywhere we look at charts. This was a rising wedge, right, on Bitcoin dominance. Now, if we look at the weekly here, what happened? Well, the story is the pattern has begun to play out. We've broken to the downside. But price tried to get back in here, right? Think of it this way. This was Bitcoin dominance's home. This was the home for so long. It just got kicked out of its house. It wants to try to re-enter the home, but we're like, you're locked the fuck out. You're not getting back in. Congratulations, you're rolling back over. So create whatever story you want, but what we're seeing on dominance is not, again, surprising at all. What would surprise me on this chart is if we broke 58% on a weekly close and we started coming back up here in the 60% range. I don't think that's going to happen. 58 was a key level of price confluence, hence why it's marked here. We wicked right up to it. So I'm expecting us to just continue rolling over. And here we are on the monthly. And we'll have to see how the monthly prints. Monthly, guys, we're in December. We still have 21 days. Long way until that candlestick prints. One other chart before we start getting into historical corrections, looking at Ethereum here. Guys, Ethereum is looking extremely bullish. We broke out of our downward resistance we've been in since March, early March. Okay, we came right up here to psychological resistance at $4,000. Now look at the red candle coming in. Obviously, we don't want, this is on a weekly view. Obviously, we don't want the weekly candlestick to print in this manner because that would be a bearish engulfing candle. We'll see how things look by the end of the week. I'm not anticipating that though. More than likely, we'll get a close somewhere up towards 3,800 or above. We're sitting at, where are we at right now? 3640. So I just want to see us close somewhere around 3,800 and above. I don't want this red body to encapsulate the green, which I don't think it is. So again, my prediction is that the formation of this candlestick will have a much thinner red body and a much longer wick here. So we'll have to see how it pans out. Now, let's get into the conversation about historical Bitcoin corrections and also historical altcoin corrections before they've ripped to the upside. What we need to understand in this market, there's a couple things to keep in mind moving forward. Sometimes things get overheated, okay? It could be leverage, it could be emotions, whatever the case is of people that are in the market. Things have got a little overinflated, And so it's healthy when things pull back. Sometimes in addition to that, there's what's called manipulation, okay? There's manipulation in the stock market. There's manipulation in the crypto market, okay? So a lot of the times, also compounded with the fact that things can get overheated, you have some whales playing some fun games on people that don't know what they're doing, quite frankly. So if we come back here now, interestingly enough, the more that time has gone on, and I've spoken to this, a lot of the price action that we're seeing in the market looks a little bit more reminiscent of 2016-17, which is great for us if that pans out, because that was a much bigger bull run than 2021 versus 2021. Again, who knows how next year is going to pan out in exacts. I couldn't think of the right word. Who knows exactly how next year is going to pan out. But we try to look for breadcrumbs from the past to figure out the price action we're seeing today, what does it most similarly look like? And so in that case, it looks a little bit more similar to 17. We'll start in 2017 here. Now, you can see in 2017, we had a large run up the entire year before we had our blow off top in December of 17. Guys, hit the thumbs up, please. Small channel, man. This channel is extremely small. So when you choose to engage and take a second of your day to hit the thumbs up, it helps to spread the content out to more people through the YouTube algorithm. Now, what I'm looking at here, if we look at the beginning of 17 here, this doesn't look like a deep correction. Some of these corrections don't look deep because it's on a log scale and it's auto-adjusted. Thank you for the engagement. Appreciate it for those who did. But I want to show you just how deep of some pullbacks we've seen. Here, we rose up to 1,300 and we pulled all the way down to 900. We had a 33% pullback, guys. Here, we came up to 3,000 and we had a pullback to 1,800. We had a 41% correction. Here, we came up to 5,000 and we pulled all the way down to 3,000, another 40% correction. And this was a little bit of a more shallow pullback. Here, we pulled down, it looks like, well, it was like 30%. Now, the point is, obviously, if you were shaken out at any point in time during here, you would have had a little bit of regret, right? No one sells the absolute top, okay? I don't want to give a false impression. I have no illusions of grandeur that I'm going to sell the exact top next year. But I want to give you food for thought, okay? One of the things that I've constantly been hitting on this channel, right, is the video that I published many months back that really hasn't gotten a lot of attention. But the premise of the video should give us as bulletproof a playbook as possible to profit in this market. It should be as bulletproof a playbook as possible. And why is that? Because I'm not coming out to you guys and I'm not saying, look, my topping area for Bitcoin is $110,000 to $180,000, right? And so you would be smart to sell in there. Or based on the halving cycle, liquidity cycle, whatever you want to say, election cycle, all this stuff, Bitcoin's not going to top until October, November of next year. So I'm not selling anything until then. We're not doing that. What we're doing is we're using historical data, okay? Historical statistical measures that in the past have indicated when we have been at or extremely close to our impulsive top. And the other thing, the last thing I'll hit on with this, and why I believe it's such a bulletproof methodology, is because I'm not coming to this chart. I'm not coming to the pi cycle chart and saying, well, the pi cycle has worked every single time. It's gonna work again, so I'm just gonna use the pi cycle. The pi cycle is one of a handful of indicators, because what I recognize as a data scientist is that especially in such a naive market, okay, so young, so immature, you're never going to have statistical indicators that provide you certainty. Everybody in this market, especially people who are not analytically minded, they all want certainty. They all want someone to tell them what something is or is not going to do. If you're following anyone on YouTube or Twitter that tells you they know what will happen, probably best to unfollow them because they don't. The reality is what we're doing is, as data people, we're sifting through the data. We're sifting through the data and we're attempting to use that data to help formulate our view moving forward. That's all we can do. And so I think it's an extremely smart strategy to have a handful of statistical indicators that have historical significance in spelling out impulsive tops. And that's why, again, when we look at some of the price action going on here, let's look at how deep we've corrected. We saw huge volatility this one day. We look how much we've corrected. Guys, we've only had an 11% pullback, okay? It's just I think a lot of your altcoins are puking harder, so it might be filling some people with emotions, but this is nothing. This is child's play. But the thing that leaves me feeling confident about this market movement, you'll go out to X if you spend any time on Twitter. You'll go out to X. You'll see even some larger accounts talking about this being a cycle top right here. And then the reason I feel so confident in telling you no, this is not the cycle top, is because none, literally none, of my historically significant topping impulsive indicators have fired. Not one. Not even one indicator has fired. So for the people who are saying that, go fuck yourself. The reality is, I keep things real on this channel. The reality is, a lot of the people that are posting on X, okay, you don't know who's being genuine. You don't know who's being authentic. You don't know these people. You don't know these people. Just because someone has a large account does not mean anything in terms of how authentic they are, how knowledgeable they are. They just have a lot of followers. That's what they have. Okay, they have found a way to farm engagement, right? Now, there are a lot of great content creators out there that have very deep subscriber bases. Don't get me wrong, but there are some out there that add no value to the space. So just be really careful who you're listening to. Again, I can't tell you with certainty anything. All I can tell you is despite some of the volatility we're seeing right now, no topping indicators have fired. Now, if we go back to 2020-21, let's take a look. This was really our first pullback. We didn't have many pullbacks. 2021 was an interesting year because we sort of double topped with this corrective formation in the chart here. But here you can see we topped initially out right around my birthday from about 42 down to, I remember this very well, down to 29, and we had a 31% correction. I'm just curious, how deep was this correction? This looks like, what, maybe a 15% pullback? Yeah, 18% pullback. So the level of pullback that we're seeing now, let me give you my thoughts on the market and where I think things are going. The level of the pullback that we're seeing right now is very reminiscent of the pullback that we saw 4 years ago. This was actually at the end of November. We're in the beginning of December. So very similar to here, right? We're seeing like an 11 to 12% pullback. This was a 17.5%, right? I believe, if I had to take an educated guess where the market is at, we're going to see one more last ride up here going into the beginning part of next year that's going to take Bitcoin somewhere north of 110. Could it hit 120? Could it hit 100 as high as 130? It's possible. But yeah, 110, 130, right? And then we're going to see a pretty sizable pullback. You should see your altcoins. Again, I'm sticking to the plan here, guys, of there's nothing in the charts that has changed. We're looking at this Bitcoin dominance rolling over. We're getting a little bit of a dead cat bounce here that I just spoke to. I believe your altcoins are going to go so fucking ballistic in the first quarter of next year that both you and I are not prepared for that. Again, I'll just remind you, if XRP can do a 5.5x in a few weeks, what do you think your altcoins are going to do? Steady, lads. Steady, lads. Let's all just remain calm. if we go to Ethereum, what sort of corrections have we seen? And we'll take a look at Solana as well, because it provides some good historical context. Maybe we'll look at Cardano. If we look at Ethereum, of course, this was back in 2017. I want to actually focus on 21 just because it was a little bit immature then. Let's take a look at 21. You can see here in the summer we rose all the way up to 500 and came crashing down to 300. We started riding this trend up. Look at the volatility here. Again, the volatility I'm about to show you doesn't look like a lot on the chart because it's auto-scaled on log format, but it really is. Look how deep the correction is here. Without even looking at the numbers, I'll say a 15 to 20% correction. It's just my guess. Let's see. So from here, it's even more than that. We had a 34% correction in Ethereum. This was at the start of the new year. Now, this correction went from 1,400 all the way down to like 900. And if you had sold there, you missed a ride all the way up to $4,000. That's why, again, you're not going to be able to look at a USD chart of Ethereum and know with certainty when things are topping out. But you certainly can use historical pricing indicators to tell you when things are overheated or oversold. And in the case of Bitcoin, when we've had an impulsive top, which is what I'm trying to do for you guys. You can see here, look at the RSI. The RSI was a little bit overheated, right? So it made sense that we cooled off. And you can also see some bearish divergence there. It should have given you a clue. Okay, so that is Ethereum. I wanted to take a look at Solana with you because I know Solana, I think Solana also provides some good context. I mean, this is a very nice chart. Hold on one second. My phone just randomly turned on. There must be a ghost inside my residence. I was listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers Can't Stop, and the song just all of a sudden randomly came on my iPhone. Anyway, when we go to Solana, look what happened here. You know, you never thought this downturn was going to end. From August 2020, I want you to keep this in mind. From August 2020, okay? Let me do this first. Where am I at? Come on, you can do this, CBG. There we go. Starting there all the way to here, we had 119 days. We had like 4 months of a downturn in Solana, okay? And we went down from a price of $5 all the way down to $1. We had an 80% correction, guys. Solana, one of the best performers in 2021 and in the top 5, had an 80% correction and was in a non-stop downtrend going into the start of 2021. And then look what it did. It went from $1 very quickly up to $59, or $50, excuse me. Again, correction, 40% correction, and then you could have ridden this thing from around $20 all the way up to over 200 and made a 10 or 11x. You're going to see sharp pullbacks. The question you have to ask yourself is, one, are your emotions in control? Again, I told you, maybe I did tell you this, maybe I didn't tell you this, I don't know. The thing that leaves me feeling very encouraged that I'm going to succeed next year isn't looking at my portfolio and what it's worth, right? I'm in a better position today than I was 4 years ago. That's not what's leaving me feel confident. What's leaving me feel confident is I'm just my personality, who I am as a person. I'm always someone who's willing to acknowledge my mistakes and learn from them. So I've learned from mistakes I've made in the past. I have, as a result, put together what I'm calling a bulletproof sell strategy that I believe will work out very well for me. And the second thing that leaves me feeling confident that I will be successful next year is my emotions are in control. When this market was up a lot, when it's been correcting pretty harsh the past 2 days, I'm very even keel. Very, very even keel. I'm not feeling anything in the market. Remember when you guys, I don't know who here was with me when we were live streaming. We actually live streamed, this was back on Thursday, last Thursday. This volatility right here came in on the day I live streamed. I was off live streaming for like a week and a half. I finally had come back, and we saw the volatility come in, and people were commenting in the comments here, which by the way, there are no comments. Did I turn off comments? Why are there? That's really weird. I just noticed that. I apologize if comments are off. Comments off? That's fucked up. Hold on, give me a second here. Let me make sure my comments are on. Something must have gotten screwed up on this live stream. I don't know. I don't know why the comments aren't on. That's kind of weird. I apologize that the comments aren't on, guys. I don't know what to say about that. In any event, we were live streaming, okay? We were live streaming during this volatility. And what was my reaction during the volatility? It wasn't fazing me at all, right? Because I recognize that what's happening right now is we are about to enter, we are on the precipice and actually in the midst of it, entering that period that we've all been waiting for, right? To capitalize on being patient and investing in this market so early. And I don't plan on fucking it up. We're going to see volatility along the way. Remember, my educated guess is Bitcoin's going to go up to 110, 120, 130, and then it's going to have a sizable pullback. But while that's taking place, you're going to see liquidity flooding into altcoins, guys. You're going to see massive runs in this market, right? It should also, let me just say this. For all you guys, and I don't know who out there has been giving credence or not giving credence, say what you want. I brought this up before. Say what you want about Murid, and I troll, like I said, I troll him just to have fun. I've never gotten a response, but say what you want about him, but the guy knows what he's talking about. There's a reason these two projects are up big today, right? There is a big narrative behind them, and based on the entire market being red today, and these things are up huge, should probably give you an indication that, hey, these might be stronger performing assets next year, okay? Now, do I think that they're going to go to the valuations that he has shared on X? No, I don't think they're going to go that high. Anything's possible. I don't think they're going to go that high. But the fact that these two assets are holding up so well, they're both sub $1 billion projects that on an otherwise deep red day are up 11%, okay? So I would take note of that. And again, I hope to God every single person listening to this live stream has some exposure to meme coins and social tokens. I've been talking about this all year. Other charts we can take a look at I can't believe the comments aren't on. It really pisses me off. Let me give this one last. Who can send messages? Anyone? Live reactions? I guess this just isn't working. So, and it also says, I wonder if my VPN is fucking this up. It says chat revenue. Somebody must have super chatted me, and I can't even see who it is. I really do apologize. Let me try refreshing this screen and see if this, hopefully this doesn't screw anything up. Wow. Okay. So I'm back with you guys. So I refreshed my window, and now my chat has appeared on the right-hand side here. So I see 2 super chats. So let me get to the comments here because this was not working for me earlier. I was not ignoring you. Juan, welcome in. Good to see you as always, my friend. Todd, super chats are never expected, man, but they're always appreciated. Thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate it. Greg, I've been wondering where the fuck you've been at. Thank you for joining the live stream, my friend. I've honestly been wondering where you've been at. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for joining today's live stream. It's good to see some long-time supporters on the live stream. I love seeing that. Rory, you're always in here, man. Thank you so much for showing up. Can we check my top indicators real fast? Yeah, sure. We can take a quick look. PLI is up 20%. Very, very nice. Hello from Chile. Hello from Chile. Very, very nice, Arturo. Very, very nice. Hands up. Appreciate all your hard work. Why? Thank you, kind sir. So I've had a request to take a look at the topping indicators. I was kind of on the fence, actually, of doing that. So we can take a quick look at that. So we have one of them up here. This is the price cycle. The idea is the orange line is what's called your fast period moving average. The blue is the slow period moving average. All that means is one has more numbers in it and the other has a lower number of numbers in it to calculate an average price point. That's all it is. The fast period has a smaller subset of data and the larger period goes over an extended period of time. That's all it means. Now, historically what happens is when the price cycle indicator fires, which is indicated here, I'm indicating when we topped and when it triggered, right? So you can see when the fast period intersects the slow period, that's typically when we've topped out. It's when we've topped out. And I guess that's it. That's two of them. Now, you might be asking yourself, I've answered this question before, you might be asking yourself, well, CBG, we topped here at 64. No. We topped here at 69. Guys, that's because this was not an impulsive top. Yeah, we went like 5% higher. This was not the impulsive top. This was part of a corrective structure. Just because the price went higher here than it otherwise here doesn't mean that this is some sort of an impulsive top. Corrections can appear that way. So that's what's going on there. So you can see based on this topping indicator, if this were to be successful, it doesn't matter that the price touched here. Okay, we want the moving averages to touch. If this were to be successful, this fast period moving average is beginning to accelerate. Because of this recent price action, this moving average is beginning to accelerate to the upside. So long as price can maintain itself, and I've told you my thoughts that we're going to be somewhere, relatively speaking, basically in this area, somewhere in there, okay? Well, if price continues churning up here, this moving average is going to continue churning up at a high rate. So it's very possible, it is very possible that the price cycle indicator could fire within the first quarter or second quarter of next year. That's really what this chart is speaking to for me at the moment, is just the rate of acceleration here. So has not topped yet. We still have a big gap here, at the very least several months. Okay, so that's one chart that's telling us several months. If we take a look at RSI MACD, is this the weekly? Yes. Okay, so if we take a look at the weekly chart here, this topping indicator is looking at, first let's look at the MACD. We're seeing that every time we've topped, we've touched this descending resistance on the weekly. You can see that the MACD is a far cry away from, getting up here, okay? Doesn't look like it's going to get up there at the earliest until the first half of next year. So this hasn't fired, but in conjunction with the relative strength index, and the relative strength index has to get somewhere up into that 90 to 95 range. You can see we got super duper close to it back in March of this year. We didn't touch it though. So I'm looking for the RSI to get somewhere towards 90 to 95, and I'm looking for this MACD intersection at the descending line. You can see we still have a lot of room to the upside. So that's the second topping indicator. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you my friends' topping indicators. If you want access to them, you've got to pay for the services. You have CoinChartist, which is Tony the Bull BTC. He's got a bullseye signal. It has not fired yet. And TechDev also has some topping indicators, and his have not fired yet. He also, TechDev, well, both of them, they both put out, Tony actually puts out weekly. They both put out newsletters that are very informative. So I would encourage you guys, you throw money in this market like it's nothing, most of you. Spend 10, 20 bucks a month to subscribe to a newsletter that's going to keep you more current on the market. I think it's well worth your money. I just went to the store today, and I blew like $80 on like food, just on dairy and meat and vegetables and fruit and all that stuff. I make people jelly in the store line when I get in the store. You know, I see people showing up with tasty cakes and, you know, cheese and prosciutto, and here I am with lean turkey, extra lean turkey, fat-free milk, and some spinach. Okay, this is supposed to be a topping indicator. I don't know why this is on a daily. We don't know why. Must have gotten fucked up. There we go. So here, again, this is one we just looked at. This is the third topping indicator we're assessing. We're waiting for this relative strength index to get somewhere up in this area that I have highlighted. You can see here I have a theoretical projection on what I anticipate seeing. I anticipate seeing some sort of a double top similar to 2017, but we'll have to see. Remember, guys, and I've said this to you before, when I'm looking at my topping indicators, now I call this a bulletproof strategy. The only way it's a bulletproof strategy, in my opinion, is if you follow it. So if a couple of these start firing off, and make no confusion because I corrected someone on X about this, I'm not waiting for every indicator to fire off. That's not the point. Then you're implying certainty behind every indicator you're waiting. No, some of them are not going to fire more than likely. I don't think every single indicator is going to fire, at least indefinitely throughout the end of time. The point is, if a couple start to fire, I'm starting to scale out of my Bitcoin. And I'm also going to look for tops. I'm going to be watching the charts like a hawk on the altcoins I hold to look for overbought territory on those charts, and I'm going to be scaling out of those as well because your altcoins top typically a little bit later than Bitcoin, right? Could it happen in February? Could it happen in March? Could it happen in May? Could it not happen until August, which I'm not expecting, but it could? It doesn't matter, right? But this chart is telling you, this is just my educated guess, right? I have no idea how this is going to pan out. I don't need to know how it's going to pan out. The point is, this is the area I'm looking for the RSI to get into on the monthly before I say, hey guys, this one's firing. I hope whoever is okay. Anyone here? Is anyone here an ambulance driver? Is anyone part of the emergency crew? You guys do invaluable work, let me tell you. I never had such an appreciation. Actually, in all seriousness, I never had an appreciation, not for the healthcare system, but for people who work in the medical field after being in the hospital so much last year. Really, just puts a lot of things in perspective. So these charts got messed up, and I haven't corrected them yet. So there are two on-chain metrics. Okay, this looks like it was corrected. This is the market value, realized value Z-score. We want that MVRV Z-score. Now, a couple thoughts here. This one for me is going to fire. You can see I have descending resistance here, but I also have a zone of where we've typically been overheated, right between 9 and 7. So what I'm going to do, and I'll be transparent about it, when this MVRV Z-score starts intersecting this descending line here, I'm going to mark it as an orange, like the signal is getting hot, right? Because for some of these, when we're looking at the indicator, and I'll be very clear to update you guys on X, you either haven't fired, you're getting super hot, or you've triggered. This, to me, when we hit the descending line here at 4, this isn't a trigger. We're extremely overheated, though. We're getting extremely overheated. We're just about to fire. If we start to approach then up towards the red line here, okay, within, I don't know, 5%, 10%, 20%, somewhere very close to this 7, that's firing, okay? But you can see for this one to fire, for it to get overheated, we have a decent amount up, but we have a long way up until we start to get really overheated here. So still a long way there. The Pule multiple is the last one that we'll take a look at, and I don't know if I've updated this one because the chart got messed up. I might have to update this. You can find these on-chain metrics. It's here. You can find these on-chain metrics also on, I think it's Glassnode. So again, what I've done here, I'm just going to look at this red topping zone here. So this red line, excuse me, this line is pre-built. But you can see every time we've topped, which is the green line here, in this case, I'm showing the 3.74. Here we touched 3.74, which I'm denoting as the trigger based on the touch here and the touches back here, okay? As you can see here, we hit it when Bitcoin was at 56,000, okay? And we ended up topping at 64. So this is one that isn't telling you on the day or the week, but it's telling you very close to the top when we'll be when we're at an impulsive top. So you can see on the Peel multiple here, we have, I mean, guys, come on, look, we're nowhere. You can see we got very close here. We're nowhere near it. We're all the way down here at 1. We've got to get all the way up more towards 4 for this thing to get for this thing to fire off. And then the last topping indicator would be Tether. Now we've looked at this one. We know on a monthly chart what we're looking for. We almost had a touch here. We broke out of the bear flag. The whole premise behind this chart, very straightforward. This is showing you what percentage of the market cap Tether makes up. Tether is a stable coin. If a lot of people are holding stable coins, it means they're not taking risk, right? Tether is pegged 1-for-1 with the US dollar. So there's money parked on the sidelines waiting to buy up altcoins. If the Tether dominance is dropping and not a lot of people are holding Tether, what does that signal to you? It's being deployed into the market. So we want dominance to come down here. I look like a weather forecaster every time I do this. The clouds are moving in from the east, and they're going to be pushing up from the south. Anyway, this is the monthly RSI. Around the time that we have topped in the market, and this is monthly, we've touched this bottom trend line in 17, in 19, and in 21. 19 was that Gravestone Doji up to 14,000. So you can see here I have a theoretical projection, but we're going to wait to see when this thing fires. When it starts to come down, somewhere in here, maybe it's not until the end of 2025. It very well could be, but we'll have to see. But you can see this still has a while to go, right? The RSI right now is at 41. It's got to start pushing down towards 33. So I hope that was helpful. As you can see, as I told you guys, none of these topping indicators have fired. So it leaves me feeling very confident that all we're seeing right now is noise and volatility. Again, I just look at the charts, and what I think to myself is this is all just a distraction and noise, guys. It's interesting. I reposted out this past week at some point a post that I had put out amidst all of the saltiness in the market. And it was in early September, I think. Let me see if I can quick find it. I tweet so much. I don't think I'm going to be able to quick find this one. Hold on. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm going to find it. I may not announce certain things, but there will be signs. I love the color on this car. I'm never going to get a Lambo, but I love the color on this car, though. Well, they say never, you know. No, I'm way too practical. I think it would be a scary thing, a sign that I might have like a death sentence if I bought a Lambo. I shouldn't say that, but I'm way too practical. There is a post I want you guys to see. Well, there's this one from back in August when Peter Schiff was taking premature victory laps on the demise of Bitcoin, where he actually invited me up to speak as a guest speaker. I don't know who the hell made that decision, but I told him I wanted to come back at the end of the year in the fourth quarter because I felt Bitcoin would be at new all-time highs and wanted to have another spaces. Of course, he hasn't taken me up on that. I've tweeted at him many, many times. This is the post. look at when I posted this, September 6th. Let's go back to the chart here. Okay? And again, it's just coming, look, there is a difference between arrogance versus being humble and just really confident because you're educated, right? I know that I could be wrong with everything that I'm saying. I can't provide you with certainty. I just feel super duper freaking confident, okay? In a humble way. I've been humbled in this market many times. But if we go to September 6th, wow. Wow, it was on this red day, guys. Bitcoin hit a low of $52,000. So amidst this price action, right here, look what I posted. Unfazed, ladies and gentlemen. Unfazed. Remember how September 6th feels in the crypto market, and think how you will feel now. Future self in the fourth quarter, which is where we're at, guys. Bookmarked and to be reposted. And this one is one that aged very well, okay? Similarly, okay, while I know that I could be wrong, similarly, that's how I feel about the price action right now. This shit is all noise, guys. It's all noise. Your altcoins are going to be significantly higher next year. You just have to be patient. There isn't anything that's changed in the charts. Again, the only thing that's changing day to day are your emotions. If we know what charts to look at, let me put it to you one last way to try to bring it all home. If we know what charts to look at to tell us with conviction what we can expect in relativities moving forward in the not too distant future here, okay, in the shorter to midterm, right? If none of those views have become invalidated, nothing has changed. Literally nothing. Am I correct? Nothing has changed. Now, if something becomes invalidated in those charts, we need to have a conversation then, right? And you know I'll be authentic with you guys, come out here and have a conversation and say, man, this chart's falling apart and here's why I'm concerned. But nothing like that is going on. All that's happening right now is day-to-day fluctuation, day-to-day volatility. Guys, please don't let it weed you out. And don't fuck this up by over-rotating coins. Don't think you're going to outsmart this market. You will not outsmart this market. This market will kick you in the ass if you let it. Stick to the plan. You hold what you hold right now. There's a reason that you got into it. Just because something isn't moving. I got to tell you, for people who have been in Caspa for a year, I don't have the USD chart. Caspa has been consolidating for almost a fucking year. But I'm extremely convicted on the asset. I know what I hold. I feel uber confident, right? And we'll see how next year pans out. Same with the meme coins I'm holding. Same for any token I'm holding. But what you own is what you own. Stick with the plan. Have a logical sell strategy and stick to it. I've given you a bulletproof strategy for Bitcoin. I really do feel it's a bulletproof strategy. So hope everyone's appreciated the content. Let me get to the comments here and see if there's anything before we sign out. Been on this live stream for a little while now. And I got to get back to work. I took a break from work to do this, but I'm jumping right back on. He silenced us because we are annoying. No, I don't know what happened to the chats. I had to refresh my browser, and I wasn't sure what was going on. Murad? Must stop Murad, I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Yeah. This is Murad right here. You know what's crazy? This guy has gotten, say what you want again, but not only if you actually listen to him articulate himself, I've been saying this whole time, I'm not necessarily saying I agree with all of his predictions on the valuations that he sees a lot of these meme coins going. That's not the point. The point is if you just listen in generalities, high level to what he's saying, it makes a whole lot of sense. And the other thing you have to consider is there are so many eyeballs on this. This guy had like 100,000 followers or less before he started going mainstream talking about all these meme coins. There are a lot of eyes on these meme coins right now. Look, I own Giga. I own SPX. Okay? There's a reason for that. It's my Murad portfolio. Okay? Just being transparent with you. Who the hell doesn't want to make money in this market? At the end of the day, what brought me to this space was and will always be the technology. However, I'm invested in this space because I see how early at least I have been, and I see the potential for massive price appreciation in this market like no other market. You want to make money in the market, right? So you need to follow the biggest narratives. Prosciutto. Fart coin. Yeah. Ridiculous. I almost sent my family a text message yesterday asking them if anyone owned fart coin. I send them stuff half the time. I know they have no idea what I'm texting them, but All right, guys. I saw an X post about the Bitcoin active addresses. I'll have to look into that. I haven't seen that. But appreciate you pointing that out, Juan. I'll take a look at that, actually. Guys, I think that's going to do it. We've been live streaming for 50 minutes at this point. I got to get back to the non-YouTube world. So thank you so much for tuning in. More than likely, I'll be back at normal time tomorrow. But you never know. You got to click that bell icon for all notifications. Thank you for the super chats, both of you guys. Thank you for all of the engagement on the chats once I could pull this back up. And until tomorrow, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care, everybody. Thank you for showing up.